Let's talk about education. The education system that we find most readily available in the United States was adopted in the mid-1800s and then later refined in the Industrial Revolution, primarily to churn out factory workers, office clerks, or anybody who could follow instructions. School systems are built mirroring the way that a factory operates, training students to be cogs in the machine rather than exerting their abilities, their passions, their potential. This laid the groundwork for how humans perceive what it means to be human. Further and further into the refinement of this already flawed system, we see the cultivation of quantified results rather than actually cultivating a human being. Further, we got taken down this road by standardizing almost everything that could possibly be standardized. Education, time, tests, IQ, and even lunchtime. The order in which things were presented were not to be questioned or gone against. The concept of these people having passions, gifts, curiosities, inspiration, and motivation to learn of what life entails was casted aside in favor of refining the Industrial Revolution and the new hierarchical chain that is being founded. People who had it in their cards to climb the newfound Industrial Revolution recognized the importance of preserving their power, and the system that was forming gave them leverage in doing so. This concept that was formed more than 200 years ago still rules the way that human beings exist today, and the perpetuation of the exploitation of the masses, as well as prolonging this absurd creation that was already built on a flawed foundation, is still being carried out today. The Industrial Revolution is not only fundamental and extraordinary to our surviving as a growing population of humanity, but it also introduces a variety of sinkholes that we can get stuck in as a collective, and the ladder out of that sinkhole is only granted to the people who had the ability to reserve their seat early, in favor of immorality against the people, against the world which allowed us to exist. This is merely a structure that had been adopted 200 years ago. The act of learning is older than the world itself. The fact of the matter is that the school we know today is actually not meant to benefit in our learning. It does not teach you the fundamental core of what you are actually learning or dealing with or experiencing. You don't learn about what the science will do for you, why you should care, what it means to truly understand that information. You only learn about the weeds. You have the information, but what is the point of the information when you don't even know why you have the information? Why learn about the complications of chemistry if you don't know what those components are comprised of in unity? This phenomenon is seen within every field we've expanded on because we ourselves do not even understand the why behind our own life. As within, so without. What reality has created up until the present moment has been nothing but extraordinary, absolutely worth praise and admiration. You can form this entire situation as being something very bad for us as a humanity. But ultimately, this is how we got here. This is how these things happened. And whether or not they were unavoidable is not something worth dwelling on anymore. We need to cut the ties of trauma that hold us to the past and proceed forward as a collective and as an individual. At this point in reality, the way that you would actually go about educating somebody from zero is a very radical concept. You can't miss what you have no recollection of. However, your body, your mind, your soul knows that there is a malalignment in need of recalibration to really thoroughly enjoy what life is, what you can gain from it. There are subtle symptoms among everybody that there is something that needs to be fixed. Going further, Parents who have gone through the factory came out of it the other side, readily willing and capable to condition a child that has not been exposed to these preconceived notions that are inherently detrimental, completely outdated, and incompatible to this child. Parents perpetuate this industrial structure by priming their kids right off the bat. No, don't do this, don't do that. Be quiet, sit down. So many containers placed upon a child at such a young age that their curiosity, creativity is completely suppressed under this pressure of externally imposed containers. Their ability to experience and learn as an individual deteriorates, and they are perfectly primed for having external information fed to them and to passively absorb the information without any consideration of its authenticity. This desensitization and lack of interaction beyond the container creates a docile herd of sheep who teach stardust to be herds of sheep. Meanwhile, there is a smaller but higher tier of wolves who siphon energy from this herd of sheep to stay comfortable in their equally flawed perspective, with higher privilege and the blueprint to create another wolf. Thanks to the Industrial Revolution, we now have a technological revolution. And that revolution enables a type of artificial connection with humanity. The diversity of humanity's perspectives is out of the bag and laid in front of anybody who has access to technology. Concepts that we didn't have the ability to learn as children, all differing amongst humans depending on your situation and circumstance growing up, is readily available to witness throughout the internet and adopt if we so choose. We now have blueprints to create all different types of animals, as well as all of our inherent stardust nature peering through the veil. Artificial intelligence is paradoxically more human than most. Everybody now conveniently has an 8-ball in their pocket where they can ask a question and get an answer as long as they can come up with the right question to ask. And this game of questions scales with how deep you're willing to go within yourself. And how deep you're willing to go within yourself scales with how willing you are to be outside of a container. Recognizing that container's shape requires fluidity in intelligence. Recognizing that there even is a container requires inquisitive nature. That inquisitive nature needs to be driven by a will to live in the greatest possible way that you can fathom. Reality is a spiral in which we travel in, revisiting instances in our reality in a different way, in a different perspective, depending on how recognizable or shifting that experience is for you depends on how you decide how to react to that situation. The deciding and reacting, the execution, is the last step and is influenced by everything else. There is a cause and effect. There is a third entity determining what you are exposed to, and that you can identify, resonate, and transmute, determining how you view yourself and the world. And this third entity, which we can identify as the internal world and the external world. Simultaneously, the external world is a mirror into the internal world. Everything you see began with a thought and attention placement. Create a vessel that allows for the perfect external world to be projected. Due to this passive nature that we've taken on after being conditioned to be sheep by the factory, there has been an insane separation between participating in reality and being a spectator of reality. We know about history, but not how to create it. We know about biology, but we don't know how to feel in our own body. We know about language, but we don't know the depths of it or how to wield it. We know about systems, but we don't know how to build them. We know how to absorb perspectives, but we don't know how to create them ourselves. We can recite photosynthesis, but can we grow a plant? We can solve mathematical equations, but can we see the patterns shown to us in reality? We can write essays, but can we speak genuine truth? It's hard to be something that you don't see externally. It's hard to go against the grain of society. It challenges something that is seemingly bigger than you. Ironically, you go deeper into these emotions, fear, disconnect, anxiety, whatever it may be, in order to pull authenticity out of the grave that the Industrial Revolution has paved over it. The beauty of diffusing the anguish of society lies within this endeavor. In order to understand the machinations of the problem that you are facing, you must actually face the problem. Do not let fear gesture you to look away. We must take back what it means to be a human being. We must embody something more than rigid systems. This reality that we currently inhabit is a phoenix that was required in order for us to look deeper into our own intelligence and what we are truly made of. To continue down a path of superficiality is almost futile because this oncoming revolution will blow you away. With vigor and vitality that we deserve as human beings, with satisfaction, happiness, and love permeating our entire essence. Leave mediocrity behind and delve into a new era that challenges you in every single way possible. Aid in the recreation of reality being magnificent and return to your roots with all of this raw emotion that we've gained as a collective. Under pressure, creating the perfect environment of undefeatable positivity and unconditional love